and welcome to Two Tired Teachers. I'm getting ready to tackle the insulation on the van. Hopefully this isn't going to take very long. I'll put a stopwatch on and let you know the overall process. This is the 1/2 inch insulation, and I went back and forth, should I get 1/2 inch or 1 inch, and finally just decided that the little Thinsulate that I'd put on the roof of the NV worked great. So decided to go in and go with the 1/2 inch, and maybe it wouldn't be quite so bulky. And the first thing I'm going to do, the back of each of these sheets, let me show you there, has like a number and a letter. And so the L's go on the left side, the R's go on the right side, and the C's go on the ceiling. First thing I'm going to do is get all of the pieces out, divide them into those 3 categories. I personally am going to start on this right wall. It should be pretty straightforward, simple, and it's going to be completely covered by a shelf. So if I mess up, make any mistakes, there's a learning curve. It shouldn't show much. So let's get started. Okay, first thing I did was many of these panels are just going to wedge into the place that they go. And so I tried to tuck them up in there and see exactly how they were going to fit, and then leave parts of it tucked where it goes to help hold it into place as I started peeling back the backing. And what that does is it helped to keep it straight with the ceiling and then with the supports on the walls. And just peel a little piece, and then really took my time trying to ensure that it was going to adhere straight. And the back corner over on the right there, you see how it kind of goes up under there. I actually got a pair of scissors and cut a little divot there so that I could tuck part of that back underneath the corner there. And that worked well. Okay, this is the first actual mistake that I have seen in here. And as you can see here, hopefully, this piece is 1 inch narrower, than this one. This is the one that has the cutout for the gas tank, for the gas fill. And I don't know if you can tell just by looking, but the wider section is next to it. The narrow one that needs the gas cutout is the smaller one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure up and probably cut about the bottom foot off of the wider one and replace it with the narrower one, and then see what I can do with that. All right, this is pretty straightforward. Just cut the bottom foot off. And then it was easy to put it there over the top rather than trying to tuck that under. It fit real snugly into the little section that it goes in there. And I did everything on the wall first, and then went back and put the foot that I'd cut off the bottom in at the end. And it's not absolutely perfect, but and by the way, sometimes these backings are a little bit tough to get started. But once again, just take your time and it works. But you can see that my solution worked. You can see these little brackets, and it's the same on the other side. What I'm going to do, what I have done, is I've cut these little slits here. So hopefully that will slide right past that and be tucked up underneath there nice and clean. All right, I decided to alternate wall panels and ceiling panels so that I didn't end with my hands over my head for a long period of time. And you're going to see later on, I find out that actually having the backing slit this direction is easiest if you start in the middle and go from there. But I didn't know that. This was the first ceiling panel I was doing. And I wish I had started in the middle, and that makes it so much easier. But this was like the only panel that actually was slit that direction. You can see this one, it's now going lengthwise. And that actually made it a lot harder to get it to roll exactly. Okay, alternating between the ceiling and the wall, I think was really a good call because it saved my arms. And so I went to this back section to put the this last quarter panel. I did have to trim a little bit over that support there.
Okay, I think I may have come up with something that's going to make the ceiling a little bit easier. And that is, I don't know if you can tell it, but I just went through and scored this paper here in the middle. Then I laid it out to see exactly where the center was, or where this slit should be. And I'm going to work from the middle out, and I think that's going to make it tuck up under the edges a little bit easier. So let's see.
The only real downside to putting that slit and doing this was that the paper didn't want to tear along the lines that I had put. It made the ceiling go in much smoother, and the finished product looked better, but it was kind of hard to get that to peel back like a...
Okay, now what I've done is I've torn the paper so it's smaller sections, and then what I do when I get it kind of up under here is I peel the paper back once it's tucked up under there, and hopefully that's going to work. But this starting it in the center, I like it. So I'm going to do that last section.
Okay, so once again, getting the paper to start was the hardest part, but then it did allow me to tuck it back up into the corner there. And once again, every section of this ceiling, I was cutting little divots so that it would slide back under the sections where I wanted it. Finally used some scissors to help cut this back.
Okay, I am through with the section that fits basically where I just peel it and stick it. Actually, these 4 panels right here, these two, if you can see, this one is a little bit wider than this one. Well, the gas fill was on the bottom of that one, and so I cut the bottom foot off and flipped that. Fairly simple. But the section that goes for that wheel well needs to be trimmed about 2 inches. And the section that goes up here needs to be trimmed about 3 inches. And that's actually kind of a good thing, because up here there's a gap between the front section, the cab of the van, and the back end. So I'm going to take that 3-inch section and fill in that gap. Now I know a little bit of that was one of my early sections to put this roof on, and I hadn't quite figured out what I was doing. But I'll get these cut down and then we'll finish this up.
Okay, something I didn't show here, and that is I actually did measure the section that I needed, and then simply used a ruler to mark the sections, the part I was going to be cutting off. And then that did make that, you can see it now fits just like the other sections that were correct. And the numbers, the L does mean the left side, the R does mean the right side. However, the numbers really, I couldn't see any rhyme or reason to those. So just put them up there and see what part fits. And if there's a cutout, it makes it a lot simpler to see where it goes. But this one I did decide to try at the bottom just because I was trying to tuck it up underneath that trim as much as possible. I still did a lousy job. It stuck to itself some, but once again, that's going to be behind a shelf section. So this is the finished product.
Okay, this is my review of the installation of the insulation on my GMC Savana van of the custom insulation. And I'd read some reviews saying, people saying they had to trim. I thought they meant like these little trims to get it to fit in specific places. There were actually 4 panels that I had to do some kind of major overhaul on. And the first two, this you can see that this section is, maybe you can see that, not quite as wide as this section. Well, the gas fill was on the bottom of that one, so I just cut a foot off and switched those. That wasn't that big of a deal. But this panel, I had to cut a strip this much off to get it to fit in this section. And then this panel, I had to cut a strip about 1.5 inches off to get it to fit where it was supposed to. Overall, it took me about 3.5 hours, but I'm slow and tried to, I measured twice and stuck it down once, tried to. This is a very sticky back, so if it sticks to itself, it's going to stick to itself. So you need to be careful as you do that. The biggest tip I can give you is on the ceiling panels. What I found worked best for me was I just kind of scored across this direction in as close to the middle as I could, measured where that was going to go, and then started in the middle and worked my way out. That worked best for me. If you're paying over $500 for insulation that's custom, I didn't think I was going to have to make, major trims, but this is so much easier than starting from scratch and trimming everything. So I'm pleased with it. I went with the 1/2 inch. It's so much better already. Haven't tried it out for road noise, but so far as this is Texas, and it's already getting warm out, and so this is helping so much, having something between you and that metal shell. So folks, if I can do this, I'm an old woman, if I can do this, you can do this. And so if you're looking for something, call, ask for a discount code, and let them know that Two Tired Teachers sent you. But understand there is going to be some modification even though it's a custom kit. Thanks for watching Two Tired Teachers. Actually, one very tired teacher.